we can't always see it in our own spaces, our own institutions. We can see it when we go to a new one and we can see, oh, they've told me to come in and have fun, but they've put this barrier, physical barrier in front of me, or everybody's not very friendly, or they don't help me know what it is I can and can't do. So we have to get them, the facilitators, to start to analyze for invisible pedagogy. Like, where are we setting up things that are preventing them from doing what we want them to do? So that's everything from physical space to what we're saying. So if we're saying this is a family program, I want everybody to work together, but I've already moved the adults back and made the children sit on the floor in the front, I've already told everybody that it's for kids and adults have to stay, and we're not really caring about your interaction. I've broken up the family group already. So those words are, those actions are much louder than, now I want you to work together. And maybe invisible is somewhat misleading, but I think sometimes it's even invisible to the person teaching it. So it's like they're not aware that they're sending this message.
I see.
And we're not aware that we want this, but we want people to feel mixing, but we've put a whole row of benches that they have to figure out, do I go right or left to go around? So it can be very physical things, signage, you know, I'm not letting you find the bathroom because I'm not putting the signs in the right place, or I'm not having the people where they need to be to get them to where they want to be. So I think for the visitor, the customer, I think the pedagogy is and probably should be invisible. I don't think that they need to see all of our machinations unless we want to get them to come up and say, what did you just do? What did we just do? And then dive back down in the experience. But I think the invisible pedagogy is where we're teaching and we may not be aware of it. We may not know that we sent that message.
I think it speaks to what you were talking about earlier in a different context about knowing your visitor. Now it's sort of knowing what you're doing. So it maybe behooves us to, well, prototype at the very least, but be observant and take the time to observe and watch.
See it with fresh eyes.
See it with fresh eyes.
Try to figure out, and that's hard to do when you're in the weeds. I mean,
right.
it's very hard to step back out and say, what do people see when you first come in? And I think sometimes that's where, if staff do little mini observation studies, where, all right, we're just going to all go spend 20 minutes in this particular place on the floor, and we're all going to look for this. So we could all do it at different times, but then we come back together and say, well, what have we seen? And I think that's hard to see. The other way is to bring new people in, follow them around and say, so I noticed you had a little problem with that. Tell me about that. And then we go, oh gosh, I never realized those benches prevented people from, they've always been there. Why would we even think about them again? It goes back to the invisible pedagogy. What am I saying to people that I don't realize I'm saying? That's the first thing. How am I setting up the space that will encourage everybody? Does it all look like a little kiddie table and then there's adult seating, which is not a bad thing. It's just not a thing that will encourage if you want them together. So you've got to find, if they're sitting, you've got to find ways to get them all comfortable sitting at the same time.